so I've not finished the previous LP, but it's a bit difficult to get my sister to record anything on time, mostly for scheduling reasons. So I figured I might as well do something else on my own in the meantime, while I struggle to get her to actually record. Anyway, I figured I'd do this because A, they've just announced Reach is coming to this thing, so I'm pretty goddamn hyped. And also I know the Halo game is pretty well. So I figured it'd be simple enough to quickly power through, well, really any of the campaigns, with 2 big personally being my favourite. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, it's just my favourite. So I figured we'd do this, so yeah, normal. Yes, I'm aware of this, so yeah, pretty much, it's also an excuse for me to just kind of gush about my favourite IP. And it's probably easiest to do, like a solo commentary for this one as well, because I've actually got a fair bit to talk about when it comes to Halo. So I might actually get like other guests on, because I know there is at least one person who's probably going to see the announcement for this video and then think, that motherfucker, he's doing Halo 2 without me. So probably might get him on. Don't know if we'll do co-op or not, because he'd probably be joining me by the internet, and every time we do that it tends to break. But you never know, he might do co-op, might do dual commentary with just me playing or something. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's get this thing started. It's been a fair while since I've actually played through one of these completely on its own, and I'll try not to talk through the cutscenes too much. But yeah, this is probably my favourite campaign of all the Halo games, personally. Can't exactly explain why, it just is. Probably because this is the one I grew up playing the most, because this is technically Halo 2 was technically the... Oh, here we go. I will continue after the cutscene. Modified one.
I do not trust you. He may, but I do not.
Noted.
My friend's trust is not the issue today, Spartan Locke.
The Halo 5 tie-in.
It is my trust you must earn.
Arbiter.
You are a hunter, yes. A seeker of things.
That's not the official job title, but it's close enough.
And now you hunt other Spartans.
I'm not so much hunting a Spartan as I'm hunting the Spartan.
You seek.
117.
I was not told the identity of your prey.
That is why I'm sharing it with you now. We're talking about trust, after all. May I ask you something? Your people used to call him Demon. Was that an insult or a compliment?
An insult, to be sure, but one with a modicum of respect. He was indeed my enemy, but in time, I named him ally, even friend. The events which forged this bond were complicated.
I genuinely forgot that was in the game, that bit. Good God, Blood did such a fucking good job of these cutscenes. No danger of reclamation. I can talk through this bit because there's no talking.
There was only one chip.
One? Are you sure?
Yes. They called it the Pillar of Autumn.
Why was it not destroyed with the rest of their fleet?
It fled as we set fire to their planet. But I followed with all the ships in my command.
When you first saw Halo, were you blinded by its majesty?
Blinded?
Paralyzed? Dumbstruck?
No.
Yet the humans were able to evade your ships, land on the sacred ring, and desecrate it with their filthy footsteps.
Noble hierarchs, surely you understand that once the parasite attacked...
There will be order in this council.
You were right to focus your attention on the Flood. But this demon, this Master Chief...
By the time I learned the demon's intent, there was nothing I could do.
Noble prophet of truth, this has gone on long enough. Make an example of this bungler. The council demands it.
You are one of our most treasured instruments. Long have you led your fleet with honor and distinction, but your inability to safeguard Halo was a colossal failure.
I will continue my campaign against the humans.
No, you will not. Soon the great journey shall begin. But when it does, the weight of your heresy will stay your feet, and you shall be left behind.
The plating was about to fail. There's viscosity throughout the gel layer. Optics, totally fried. And let's not even talk about the power supply. You know how expensive this gear is, son?
Tell that to the Covenant.
Oh god, I fucking love Blur's cutscenes so much. I don't know why they're complaining about the struggling to make a Halo film. Just get Blur to fucking do it. Seriously, they're amazing. But yeah, this is probably one of the formative games you have when you're growing up. Like this one in particular, I have a lot of history with Halo, but this was technically this is the first one I actually played. Here we go.
I guess it was all obsolete anyway. Your new suit's a Mark 6. Just came up from Songnam this morning. Try and take it easy until you get used to the upgrades. Okay.
I've also
let's
noticed
test
he's
your
got a
targeting first
slightly
thing.
different model in
Please
the
look
game
at
than he
the
does in the
top light.
cutscenes.
Good. Now look at
The
the
usual,
bottom light. All right.
get your
Look at
aim
the
sorted
top
out
light
here.
Again. That's it.
One
Now
thing which
the
I also
bottom
never
one.
understood is how, if this suit's brand new,
Everything checks out.
why exactly
Stand by.
does it have
I'm gonna
battle
offline
damage?
the inhibitors. Move around a little. Get a feel for it. When you're
There we
ready,
go, back
come
to
meet me
gameplay.
by the
God.
zapper.
One thing I know about the one thing that strikes me about Halo is that you go back and you play a lot of old games from the area that, like the area that these ones came
Pay
out in,
attention, 'cause I'm only going over
and
this
a lot of them
once.
don't
This
control
station
very
will
well.
test your recharge
Like
time.
it was a while ago, I had to go back at one of the old Medal of Honor games. It was Rising Sun actually. Did not feel very good
Step
whatsoever.
on in, I'll show you. Your new armored shields are
This,
extremely
however,
resilient,
it
very
feels-
efficient.
Well, other than that it's
Bingo.
at 60.
As you can see,
But even when you go
they
back and play some of the
recharge
older
a lot
ones, like I played
faster.
a while ago, I replayed Reach, and that still felt
If your
nice
shields
and
go
smooth,
down,
even though it
find
was
some
at
cover,
30. And
wait
you could
for
tell
the
it's at
meter to
30,
read
but just
fully charged.
the actual
That, or he can hide
controlling of
behind
stuff
me.
feels good.
You done with my boy?
There he is,
Master
there's
Guns?
Johnson.
I don't see any training wheels.
His armor's working fine, Johnson, so shut your chilly hole. You're free to go, son. Just remember, take things slow.
Don't worry, I'll hold his hand.
I was assuming this was meant to have subtitles on, but apparently I don't. It doesn't seem to put them on, even though I'd literally just set the game to have them on after.
Sorry, Guns.
Literally just before I started recording this.
My ass! Well, you can forget about those adjustments to your A2 scope. And
Well, he's in a particularly fine mood. Maybe Lord Hood didn't give him an invitation.
God. God damn, this game's so good.
Earth. Haven't seen it in years.
So I can't decide whether or not to talk or not during
When
this
I
bit
shipped
simply
out for
because
basic, the orbital defense grid was all
That.
theory and politics. Now look, the Cairo is just one of 300 geosync platforms. That Mac gun can put a round clean through a Covenant capital ship. Coordinated fire from the Athens and the Malta, nothing's getting past this battle cluster in one piece. Ships have been arriving all
God damn,
morning.
so good.
Nobody's saying much, but
Cutscene 2.
there's something big's about to happen.
Open door. Open door. There we go. Whew. God, yeah. Damn, I love this game so fucking much. Yeah. I don't even have time to explain in this. Well, maybe I do. My actual first as we'll get started here, yeah. My first introduction to Halo was... it wasn't actually even me playing, but it was Halo 1, where I was around a couple of friends' house. I was actually watching them play through... I believe it was... I think it was the... it was the library, I think it was, on Halo 1.
You told me there wouldn't be any cameras.
And you told me you were gonna wear something nice. Folks need heroes, Chief, to give them hope. So smile, would you? Well, we still got something to smile about.
I saw there's some grunts on each of the shoulders in some of the shots.
Drawn quite a crowd. If they came to hear me beg, they will be disappointed. Are you sure?
Gentlemen, we're lucky to have you back. Go ahead, Cortana.
Another whisper, sir, near Io. We have probes en route.
I apologize, but we're going to have to make this quick.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Sergeant Major, the Colonial Cross is awarded for acts of singular daring and devotion. For a soldier of the United Earth Space Corps.
Pretty sure it's meant to be the nation
There
space.
can be no greater heresy. Let him be an example for all who would break our covenant.
Not the biggest knowledgeable person on the law, but, you know.
Commander Miranda Keyes, your father's actions were in keeping with the highest traditions of military service. His bravery in the face of impossible odds reflects great credit upon himself and the UNSC. The Navy has lost one of its best.
Multiplayer emblem.
Slip space ruptures directly off our battle
Just when
cluster.
they allow me to have it.
15 Covenant capital ships holding position just outside the kill zone.
This is Fleet Admiral Harper. We are engaging the enemy.
Negative, Admiral. Form a defensive perimeter around the cluster. Commander, get to your ship. Link up with the fleet.
Yes, sir.
You have the mech gun, Cortana. As soon as they come in range, open up.
Gladly.
Something's not right. The fleet that destroyed Reach was 50 times this size.
Sir, additional contacts. Boarding craft and lots of them.
They're going to try to take our mech guns offline. Give their capital ships a straight shot at Earth. Master Chief, defend this station.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
Right this way.
That's really good quotes. It's one of the ones everyone remembers. Right, give me the gameplay, give me the gameplay, give me the gameplay. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go, right. Actual gameplay. Okay, as I was saying, yeah. First time I ever actually was going to remember that the enemies have rather beefy melees in this game. Because I have a tendency to forget that, run up to an elite, and then they insta-kill me.
How's it going, Malta?
Which is always awkward.
Stand
Magnum.
by. They're latched. Check your targets, watch the crossfire.
Anyway, yeah, first time I actually encountered it was watching a couple of my friends play Halo 1. Where, as I said, I believe they were playing the library, which is not exactly the best level. But it's the one I certainly remember the most. It wasn't the library.
Feel the fire on that bulkhead.
It was the one before 343 Guilty Spark. I forget which one that was called. That might have been Assault on the Control Room. Yeah, but that was my first introduction, because I was watching them play and I was like, seeing some of the, I remember seeing some of the gun design and think, wow, this looks really damn cool. Like in particular the, because whenever because I used to watch them play shooters a fair bit, and I always really get excited whenever I saw anyone using like a laser. So when I saw the fucking like plasma rifle and plasma pistol, I was like, ooh, those are pretty damn cool. And the needle, that is something that the design of that really stuck with me. Because I hadn't really seen anything like that before, but just like the gun just covered in giant purple spikes. Well, actually no, it's in Halo 1, so they're kind of like a bluey colour. But the design of that really kind of stuck with me. But then I didn't really, because I had a GameCube in my youth, and my stepbrother, who I used to, he's not my stepbrother now, but back then he was just a friend of mine that lived around the corner. He had a PS2, so we had GameCube PS2 combo way back in the day. So I never really got to see much of this outside watching a couple of my friends play it once. Then it comes to secondary school, and I meet a pretty good friend of mine who I've annoyingly kind of lost contact with. Hopefully someday I'll, because whenever I actually found out what he did now after we left school, he just kind of vanished, annoyingly. Anyway, you can actually just jump down there straight down, and I'm going to wander down here to see if there's any more ammunition. Well, I found a use for the ammunition rather than the actual ammo itself. But yeah, and we were on the bus to secondary school, and we were chatting about video games that we liked. I think we got on the subject of like protagonists that wore cool power armor. So we found out we both were quite fond of Star Wars, so we're talking about like armor and then we got like I said, we started talking about game protagonists that had a cool power armor, and I was talking about Metroid Prime and Samus Aran. Which unfortunately that's the only Metroid game I've played. I should probably fix that at some point. I actually have the AM2R saved on my computer, which I've not actually got around to playing. But we were chatting about that, and he was like, well, I played, we've got a pretty good game called Halo. I was like, oh, I think I remember that. And he brought in, then we brought in like because he had the Xbox, I had a GameCube. So we brought in the respective games manuals to try and show each other what it was we were talking about. I was like, wow, this actually looks pretty damn good. And then eventually my GameCube actually broke on me. So I was in the market for a new console. I was thinking, well, Oliver's always talking good things about the Xbox and some of the games on it. So I'll get an Xbox. Did, and it came with a whole bundle of games. It came with Star Wars Battlefront 2, the first Forza Motorsport, and Halo 2 in particular, which I was initially a bit too scared to play, because he was Oliver had been talking about the flood reveal from the first gun. I was like, oh. Back when I was younger, I was rather terrified of kind of everything. Now it's just social interaction that terrifies me. But yeah, he was talking about that, and I was initially a bit worried to play it, but eventually got over that quickly and started playing it, and my god did this franchise stick with me. And, oh god, now my phone's ringing! No, that's bad! As I was saying before I suddenly got a phone call, yeah, it kind of, I've actually now forgotten where I was. Anyway. Yeah, we, this ended up being a game I ended up playing a lot with my stepbrother, because this is a fucking fantastic split screen. Sadly, I never really had, never really got online much. Well, I didn't get online at all, really. We couldn't really afford live back in the day, and we were pretty young then, so it probably wasn't a good idea to subject ourselves to that at that age. Still, played a ton of this, split screen. Tons of fucking memories from this thing. Well, I've got quite a bit to talk about. Yeah, but I think it's good memories from Halo 2. The friend I mentioned earlier, who's probably thinking, oh my god, he's doing Halo 2 and that we want to fuck, I actually introduced this to him. Where, we'll give him a shout out, his name's James. Chat with him quite a bit, actually. Where we, when I first met him, we were chatting about games. So I think he only had, this was about the time when Halo 3 came and he was we were talking about like sci-fi stuff that we liked, and he was asking me if I had any. So I went around his house, and he was saying, "Have you got any good? Games? I've got an Xbox. If you want anything to try it." I was like, yeah, I have a damn good game. Brought Halo 2 round, and he's been a massive fan of the franchise literally ever since. Almost every time we have a Skype call, we usually end up playing this, which shouldn't really be surprising. But yeah, you should play this a ton, like I said, with my stepbrother, because actually decent. Well, decent. A lot of games back then did have split screen, unlike now. Where
the Covenant must have brought something with them.
Yeah,
A bomb.
including Halo 5. That's one game that doesn't have split screen. That's probably something I can talk about eventually. But yeah, so we played an absolute ton of this. I distinctly remember an awful lot of the time where it would be Saturday morning, and I would be shit, running out of ammunition. Is there a BR? Is there a BR anywhere? No. There's nothing I can find. Shit. Oh, dual time. This is one feature that is added into this game. There we go. Dual wielding. I believe there's meant to be some elites in here. Come on, there we go. There we go, reload. There was another one. I can see him on the motion tracker. There he is. I can see. I don't know why the active camo elites use the plasma rifle when you can see the bloody glow from it. Come on, reload. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Now, where is it? Shotgun. This was my fucking favourite gun in this game. Has been throughout the entire franchise, actually. In fact, it was even used to represent me in a funny little webcomic my stepbrother used to make back in... Oh, God. Where was it Reach came out? Shit. Was it 2010? I think it was 2010. Yeah. But yeah. Back on point. Me and my stepbrother used to play this a ton. Not so much this level, but I'm probably going to get into a bunch of the old stories that we had when I actually get to parts where they're relevant. But yeah. So yeah. Tons of split screen with that. Then Halo 3 eventually rolled around, which I showed up to slightly, like I think about half a year late, I'm going to say. Partly because it was I got the 360 at Christmas, and it came out in, I'm presuming, the summer, because that's usually when the blockbuster games always come out. But got that then. Absolutely adored that game. Played absolute ton of it. Used to like invite friends over, and we had like a little games day where we'd system link mine and my stepbrother's Xboxes. Because nope, don't want that. This is out. I'll grab this in the meantime.
We don't have much time.
I'm pretty sure there's a PR's there. There we go. There we go.
I was almost on board.
Yeah, 3 came out, played a ton of split screen on that. Had, like I said, we had games days where we'd invite some school friends over, and we used the system with the Xbox together, which was fantastic. Where it's one of my fondest memories of the franchise. Was actually the first time we played Infection, where we had it was me, my stepbrother, and then his friend Toby and my friend Ben. We were all on. I think this was actually before we'd figured out how to do System Link, where we got everyone in one room on. It's back in the old CRT TVs. So we're talking 4-player split screen on a fairly low resolution TV that's probably at most about a foot. I think about like 12 inches corner to corner, so it's a tiny little thing. And the old 4 to 5 aspect ratio as well. So we're talking tiny little areas to look at. But we played Infection, and in particular it was on Construct. Oh, that was fun. Everyone hanging around, where we discovered that the easiest thing to do was to hang around at the, oh god, fucking drones. There's drones. First time the drones appear in this game, oh god, they're everywhere. Oh god. Okay.
I'm going loud.
It's a little bit darker than I remember. But oh well. Switching to my TV on the room I'm in. Anyway, we played that there. We had another time where, which I got very excited for, because this was the first time we actually got 6 people together. Where we had, that's when we discovered like how to properly use split screen. Not split screen, system link. And we had a giant fucking cable from my room into the room next door. And we had giant, like, the other time we had a couple of, like, we had 4 friends over in total. We did, and we were doing capture the flag on sand trap, driving the elephant around. I see you down there, you asshole. God, the gameplay of this game holds up beautifully. So yeah, we played that a lot, and then eventually we got Xbox Live, and it was very first thing I ever played on Xbox Live was Halo 3. Which shouldn't surprise anyone. I think Halo 3 was actually the first 360 game I played as well. It wasn't the first one I got, because I got Need for Speed Pro Street from my dad one Christmas, and then I went back to my mum's, and that's where I found that they'd actually bought me an Xbox. That's when I actually got the Xbox 360, and then one of the games included with that was Halo 3. So that was the first thing I booted up. But 3 was also the first online game I ever played, and I believe that was back when Halo 3 had a boot camp playlist, because I was actually a bit nervous about jumping online. I played the boot camp playlist just to begin with while I figured everything out.
The bomb is
And
it was
through, sir. They're heading straight for the Cairo.
not doing a very good example of showing off all the guns in this. Mostly because it's Halo 2, so the BR kind of... The BR is kind of... You could call it... Well, it's the utility weapon. So you could describe it, which for anyone who doesn't know, the utility weapon is basically the jack-of-all-trades weapon. It's considered the Ryu, if you want to go like fighting game terms. Or I know at least I think one person will want to know it's the think of the long swords from Dark Souls. They're kind of the middle of the road, pretty average at everything, but they can do everything. They can do it all pretty much. So this thing is mid-range, headshot capable, pretty accurate. There's almost no situation you can't use it. The trouble with it in this game is that, personally, although it's probably the most satisfying one to use, personally I feel it's a little bit overpowered and kind of renders a lot of the other guns useless, like the, well, not going on now, but the SMG, for example. Although you can dual wield it, there's still not really any time you'd actually want to use it over a BR. I mean, you've seen pretty much almost everything I've done on this level. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Going horribly wrong, going horribly wrong. Come on, shield back up, shield back up, shield back up. You can actually, one thing I found you can actually do, while just deal with this one. There we go. You can, this is the breach of the mat gun. Oh fuck. Shit. Shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done that. Get back in here. But yeah, that big moving thing up there is the breach of the mat gun. I remember there being... There we go, there's a Marine back here. You're awfully useful, cowarding back here, not helping me. Oh shit. Not doing an awful lot, are you? Anyway. You can actually climb onto the round, push yourself into the chamber, and then, like, fire yourself. Although you just kind of die and fall through the world. So I'm not really gonna demonstrate it. Trying to power through this one fairly quick. This LP fairly quickly. So, well, that's the reason I picked this, is because I can do so. Slightly delayed subtitles. Anyway, I'll let the cutscene roll and get back to it.
How much time was left?
You don't want to know.
Cairo, this is an Amberclad. The carrier shield is down. I'm in position and ready for immediate assault.
Negative, Commander. Not against a ship that size. Not on your own.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Yeah, that's the
Permission
phrase.
granted.
This is one of the fucking coolest scenes in the franchise. Absolutely awesome, this one, especially in Blur's lovely lovely graphics. There's a slight sad side to this story, which I'll explain
I
in a
know
bit.
what you're thinking, and it's crazy.
So, stay here.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy. Just one question. What if you miss?
I won't.
For Rick, he flew pretty good.
Chief, get inside. Gear up.
We're taking this fight to the surface.